Hello Africa, you're welcome once again to AgroLink, and as you're aware, we are currently focusing on sustainable agricultural practices from the perspective of higher education institutions in the country. And I have with me a guest you wouldn't want to miss. My name is Nana Ismambasam. Do stay tuned. Hello Africa, you're welcome to AgroLink on AAU TV. AgroLink is a program that aims at showcasing and highlighting agricultural activities on the continent. Welcome back from the break. Okay, sir, you're welcome to AgroLink.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kwame Agyei Frimpong. I'm an associate professor in soil science and soil fertility. Currently, I am the head of the Department of Soil Science at the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences at the University of Cape Coast.
Okay.
I am keen about sustainable agriculture because we see sustainable agriculture as that agriculture that is economically feasible and economically rewarding, that is environmentally sustainable or environmentally friendly, and that which is also socio-culturally acceptable. So for us as soil science, whatever we do, we try to tick all those boxes to ensure that whatever we do is sustainable.
Okay, all right. You're welcome. So, from the perspective of your department, what does sustainable agriculture mean to your department?
Okay, so with specific reference to soil science, we are talking about sustainability in terms of making the soil productive so that the farmers would get good yields. And not just good yields, but their produce would also be healthy and nutritious. So here we are talking about food and nutritional security. Apart from that, whatever we do as soil scientists should be measured so that as we try to deal with one challenge of low soil fertility, we don't introduce another challenge of, let's say, environmental pollution or water pollution or air pollution or anything. So whatever we do to the soil, we make sure it is right. So we have what we call the 4R nutrient stewardship. Okay. What is the right source? What is the right rate or quantity? What is the right place? And what is the right time? Okay. So that whatever we do will yield productivity, profitability, which is very key because many of our youth would not like to go to agriculture because they don't see it as being profitable. And then also environmental sustainability, and it fits into the cultural farming systems wherever they are. So we don't have a one-cap-fits-all approach. So whatever we do is tailored to different communities we work with. So to us, that is how we see sustainable agriculture.
Okay, all right, you're welcome. And interestingly, you realize that when it comes to traditional agriculture, people know crop farming and animal rearing. But when it comes to the relevance of soil science, I'm sure there are so many people who are not even aware of the relevance in employing expertise from soil scientists before starting any initiative. And I think your scope even cuts across all aspects of development. So how is your department changing this notion?
All right. So I think that since 2005, the narrative has been changing globally. You are right. Of course, we do eat soil. We eat animal flesh and we eat crops. But the soil is called Adamus. No wonder in the Bible, man was created from soil.
Soil.
And to be honest with you, you are what you eat.
Exactly.
And the crops, pardon my language, don't grow in the air. The animals don't get their food from the air. So if you treat your soil properly, you get the good crops and the good animal material that you want to eat. In fact, an American president once said that a country that does not treat its soil well will not treat itself well. So for us, we want to advocate that we give the soil the best treatment that it needs, and we bring issues of soil back from the back burner to the front burner. Then again, we will package the soil information in ways that can be consumed by different people in our countries. Be they basic school children. So what we want to do is to start right from there.
Exactly.
We will go to the churches, we will go to the mosque and have a conversation such as we are having, so that we will all come to a common understanding about why the soil is very important. But to end, let me tell you something. The truth of the matter is that the soil is the single most important biophysical constraint to look. You can have different varieties of soybean, transport them from North America to Ghana, but you can't transport soils from America to Ghana. It is impossible. So if you don't treat soils in Ghana well, you forget it. Your agriculture would never be sustainable.
Even moving beyond agric, you realize that when it comes to even building, people buy lands and they just go straight to building. So first you have money to buy the land. When it comes to the science behind it, and now that people are interested in even landscaping, home garden, you realize that the essence of soil scientists, we might even say we don't have enough to meet the needs when people actually get to realize the relevance of this industry. So what is your role in this aspect?
This is a very interesting observation. One of the reasons why we have flooding, such as we are experiencing, it's not because there is too much water being released. The truth of the matter is that water will need to go down into the soil. It will only flow over the surface if the rate at which it goes down is lower than the rate at which it's going over the surface. If you are a soil scientist, basic soil science will tell you about soil structure, soil texture, porosity. So if you were going to put up your building, first you will need to ensure that the type of soil that you have is even deep enough.
Exactly.
To be able to support your structure.
The type of structure you're going in for.
So it's not surprising that some people invest so much in their buildings and not too long after that, it collapses. Sometimes it even sinks or it gets flooded around. So that is key. I know even in some countries, to establish places like kindergartens, you will need a soil scientist to certify the place. And this is very simple to understand. You know, children like to play in sand. And as they do so, sometimes they eat it. And you would not know what material is in your soil until you have done a thorough assessment. So in all aspects of our lives, look, we say that the soil has massive ecosystem services. All the waste material that we dump everywhere, if there were no soils, every place in the world would be stinking.
Actually, yes.
But it is because we have microorganisms in the soil that turn it around. Something which otherwise is seen as a waste becomes a resource. So if there were no soil scientists, our air can become contaminated. Because even where we have to site our waste disposal structures, we need to understand whether the material is not going to seep out, contaminate water. The sea is not far from here. If we don't take good care of the soils at top, all the contaminants will end up in the
Yes,
sea.
see.
The fish will get poisoned and we won't get the fish. So it cuts across everything. Now to finish, even the building, we use soil
Materials,
to do them.
exactly. And depend, yeah.
Our pots, ceramics, come to talk about gold. The reason why we're having problem with artisanal gold mining is because soil scientists are not involved. If soil scientists were involved, we will craft strategies where we can extract the gold without necessarily devastating the soil. And once the soils are devastated, what happens to the forest? It is gone
It
for
is
good.
gone. Global warming, heat.
Yes. And that's another thing. If you don't manage your soil well, in our part of the world, our source of greenhouse gases is predominantly agriculture. And mostly from the soil. Of course, some also from livestock, but a large chunk of it is from the soil.
We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall continue with this interesting discussion on the relevance of soil scientists in promoting sustainable agriculture. Hello, Africa. You're welcome to AgroLink on AAU TV. AgroLink is a program that aims at showcasing and highlighting agricultural activities on the continent. You're welcome back from the break. Okay, so now, Prof, let's look at some of the initiatives. Looking at the relevance of individuals in your industry, let's look at some of the initiatives that as the Soil Science Department of the University of Cape Coast are currently undertaking in ensuring that our lives are improved or even made easier and better.
Thank you. There are a lot of initiatives that the department is involved in. And these initiatives, many of them are collaborative. That is to say that we work together. It's a multi-partner, multidisciplinary approach. So some of them are funded by UCC. Some of them are funded by, say, African Union. Some of them are funded by DANIDA. Some of them are funded by the EU. Some of them are funded by some institutions in America. So we have initiatives that are funded by bodies all over the world. So to give specific examples, we have currently an ongoing project where we are trying to fertilize the soil for fodder production. When I talk about fodder, when it is cut, we call it fodder, but when it's growing, we call it foraging. So we are growing animal feed.
Okay.
And the basis for us doing that is because, as you would know, there's a perennial conflict between arable farmers and herdsmen, because the cattle stray into people's farms and it leads to conflict, some deaths, burning of houses, and so on. So we think that if we can manage the soil in such a way that we can produce enough of the feed, particularly during the dry seasons, we would also be helping to deal away with the conflict.
Yeah.
So we have that one not far from here. It's funded by the university. Then we have ongoing research where we are developing a soil amendment called biochar compost. So there's biochar, there's compost, and now we have biochar compost. Biochar compost is where right at the start of composting process, you add a certain amount of biochar. We have lots of plant manure.
Okay.
from turkey, from guinea fowl, from chicken, and so on. And so what we want to do, instead of those materials becoming a waste pollutant, we are now going to turn them into useful soil amendments so that one, it supports the farmers who do not have a lot of money to buy inorganic fertilizers. And then it also does a few things that inorganic fertilizer does. So that one is local initiative.
Okay.
But the same biochar co-compost, we have also transformed it into international initiatives. We have an ongoing project that involves 16 partners from 11 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a big
And
one.
UCC is responsible for coordinating the Africa side of the whole thing, which involves Ghana, Niger, Burkina, Tunisia, and Egypt. There we are looking at sustainable agriculture, but we are trying to see, as I mentioned earlier, how we can improve the ecosystem services that the soil in terms of food and nutritional security, in terms of livelihood empowerment, in terms of job creation, and in terms of climate resilience, just to mention a few. We also have initiatives that involve fertilizer, which is one of the biggest fertilizer organizations in the world called OCP. We have initiatives with UM6P, University of Mohammed VI Polytechnic from Morocco, where we are trying to look at potential contaminants in soils that support cocoa. That will help them to design and produce fertilizers that are environmentally friendly. We have projects with Danida, as I mentioned, where we are looking at how we can support smallholder farmers to produce vegetables in an economically feasible manner. We just started another project, and that one is very interesting because that one is intra-Africa mobility project. What that involves is that we will look at the strengths that we have in our department as against the strength that it involves 4 African partners: UCC, University of Abomey Calavi in Benin, University of Eswatini, and University of Rwanda. Of course, we have European partners from France and Morocco. In this case, what we are doing is that we are looking at the strengths that we have here. So that, for example, if we have some state-of-the-art facilities in the lab that do not exist in the other universities, their students will come here. Some of their staff will also come here. Then if they also have some facilities we don't have, we will also send. So what it is that it's a live and let live approach. So as Africans, we are working together to promote sustainable agriculture. So this is just to mention
A
few.
Okay.
And as I said, some of my staff will talk in depth about some of
The projects. Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. So clearly you have so many projects that you're currently handling. One of the issues when it comes to research within the higher education space is that sometimes it stays within the confinements of the space. It doesn't translate into the lives of ordinary farmers. And clearly you are doing a lot and it cuts across other disciplines. So how do these projects, or even some of your past projects, did they translate into the lives of ordinary farmers?
That's another interesting dimension. In our department, we are not just keen about capacity building. We are also very, very interested in dissemination of our findings and communication, such as we are doing today, right? Not quite a few weeks ago, we have what we call a GCRF networking forum. We hosted a forum here that involves partners from Britain, involves partners from Nigeria, partners from Benin, and all universities in Ghana. What we did was that we showcased some of the findings we have made so that we also get inputs from other experts. We also sometimes engage in radio and TV programs, some of them local, some of them international. We have done networking from this the second time. Sometimes we also try to apply for international funding that will enable us to promote the things that we are doing. Apart from that, we also use our own funds to go to nearby communities to have communication with the farmers about the things we do so that they will take it up. For example, we will have a farmer group at Commander that are doing pineapple production on commercial basis. So we have already established a relationship with them to let them understand how they can improve the productivity of their soils. Not too long ago also, we went to a community in the Ascent area where we trained them on voucher production using readily available materials from their own farms. In fact, we are also getting invitations to go to New Dubiase, Asinfosu, and several other places just to replicate what we do. I came back from Tamale yesterday. As part of my visit, I was invited by somebody who does compost on large scale. And when he got to know that I was coming to Tamale, he wanted to have a conversation how he can improve the quality of his compost. So we do a lot of dissemination and a lot of communication. And let me tell you something interesting. In the university, if you are faculty, there's a common saying which says you either publish or you perish.
Well,
because to get promoted,
you need to publish.
And you don't publish anything. You publish from your expertise area. So for people in my department to become professors, it means we have written. We don't just write journal articles, we also write for conferences. So we go there and before the world, we tell them the kind of things that we do to also get feedbacks from other experts. So in a nutshell, this is the kind of thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you realize that there are lots of people who might not have an understanding of what it means to even employ the expertise of soil scientists. And based on this conversation, you realize people watching actually get to understand the need to even, do the feasibility studies, analysis, and all those. So are your doors open to individuals who might maybe commercial industry or even farmers or private individuals who might be interested in soliciting for knowledge from?
Certainly. We always welcome anybody who wants to tap into our expertise and our experiences to improve their own production. We are always ready and willing to have such conversations so that we would understand at what point and what particular support they expect from us. So we are happy to work with individual farmers, with farmer groups, with NGOs, with private sector partners, and even with government. And we have a lot of such experiences, records of such to show. And for us, we always want to exceed the expectations of our clients.
Very necessary. Yes, okay, all right. So now let's look at some of the challenges that you face as soil scientists, especially when it comes to letting people understand. Some parents would even, why are you going to study the soil? Why not just go into crop or even, even in our parts of the world, people are used to conventional ways for their children. Be a lawyer, be a medical doctor, engineer. Yes. So what are some of the challenges that you face as a soil scientist?
I'll put the challenges under different categories.
Okay.
For example, we are talking about visibility, right? We hope that all universities would enhance the visibility of soil science, just as they do for medicine and law and so on. And for us also as soil scientists, we need to up our game in terms of making people know who we are and what we stand for. So to let you know, we have Soil Science Society of Ghana,
Okay.
which has now been revived, and very shortly you'll be hearing from us in the news. And I think that's one way. And what will happen is this: once we are having a conversation, we would also be informing the general public about the relevance of soil science. You see, in most parts of Africa, people are thinking about employability. So
Exactly.
if my son went to, or daughter went to do soil science, what is going to happen? But I can assure you
A lot.
that soil science is one of the disciplines where you can get employment from local organizations, international organizations, and if you like, you even create your own employment. So employability is key. Now let's talk about technical challenges. First, the human resources. Because many people are not interested in soil science, sometimes it's difficult for you to get expertise.
Expertise, exactly.
And also because it is attractive. When some of our colleagues get the opportunity and they go overseas, they don't come back.
Of course.
What we do in our department, which I had not mentioned previously, is that we do all we can to support our staff and our students.
I mean, looking at the different partnerships are even bringing on board
Yes.
mobility.
So we
You're
can,
doing a
if we
lot.
were to list the number of students from soil science who had international opportunities, you marvel. As we are speaking, we have somebody in Auburn University in the USA. We have somebody in Aarhus University in Denmark. We have somebody who will also be going to Oklahoma State University. We have some who visit Ilorin University, and so on. We do the best that we can. And in fact, our lab technician is in Senegal today as we are talking, because we do this to enhance their capacity. So
Very
it
necessary.
strengthens not just our department, but also the
In
university.
the university.
So technical challenges. And then importantly, you see, soil science is a science. And for any science to thrive, there are certain basic facilities we need, like labs. And laboratories are expensive. And so we often have challenges in laboratory equipment. We are trying to see how we can get a state-of-the-art laboratory for soil science. The university has promised support, other people have promised support. And yes, if we have time, we will let you see what we have started. That is another thing. The other thing is also funding. Of course, this cuts across every discipline. Because you see, the funding that's allocated for research is minimal. And there are so many of us looking for this funding. So what we do as a department, mostly in collaboration with other people, is try to source internationally available funds so that we'll carry our research, we will support student activity and also our dissemination activities. So for us, we look at the issues from the half full approach rather than the half empty.
Because
approach.
even though there are challenges, you are navigating around them innovatively.
We don't get overwhelmed by the challenges.
Yes.
We look at the challenges as success turned upside down. And the challenges is what urges on to a lot of success. And it's not surprising that we every now and then identify challenge and find ways
of solving them. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Prof. So now you have the platform. You can put out a call to individuals who might be interested in even collaborating, farmers who might be struggling in any venture and might need the expertise of soil scientists, or even people currently undertaking research but looking for collaborators. Yes, so you have the platform.
At this point, I want to say that the soil science department at UCC has the requisite expertise. We have the experience we also have the will to support farmers, companies, organizations, and even the government in everything that is soil related. We are very willing to have a conversation to co-develop solutions, co-identify challenges. I would also like to speak to our potential students, those in the senior high schools. Of course, currently we don't have a soil science BSc. We contribute to the general agriculture, but we have plans far advanced to introduce a BSc in soil and environmental resource management. So in the future, that will be available. However, for those who want to do postgraduate studies, we have a lot of opportunities. Every aspect of soil science, we have soil science basic, we have land use and environmental science, and very shortly, we are going to have a postgraduate in fertilizer science and soil health. We have very, very friendly and very, very motivating staff. We also work to support other departments. And as I have said, we have several international and local collaborations that make soil science at UCC very exciting. Before I end, I would also urge people who have the wherewithal to support our department in cash and in kind. We are always willing and ready to have that conversation. Wherever they are, if they want us to come, we will come. If they want to speak to us via any medium, on phone, in person, via emails, or via Zoom, anything, we are always available to have that conversation. So we hope that together we'll make the soil science department strong, we make School of Agric strong, UCC strong, and we make Ghana productive. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Prof. This brings us to the end of our interesting discussion on the role of soil scientists in promoting sustainable agricultural practices. My name is Nana Ismail Basam. Until we meet again next time, keep watching AATV for more educational content.